There we go.
And sorry, I was in the wrong Zoom room. I'm so sorry. I was waiting and I had my other Zoom room open. Sorry to keep you waiting.
That's fine. Okay, let's get chapter 4 out of the way.
Chapter four looks great to me. Hang on, let me just pull it up here. Yeah, chapter four, very little to suggest here. I really enjoyed the read.
Okay, I'll put it on Patreon,
Um,
and next week it'll be on Royal Road.
Perfect. The one thing I would recommend, here we go. Minor things. So here, I'll just walk through it real quick. Such little things here. God forbid, probably because it's a specific phrase that refers, I'm a big fan of not using the uppercase G, but here I think it probably would make more sense to have it. Minor thing. Um, Let me see. I'll come back to that note here in a moment. Little things, new paragraph. I would suggest here for Nosferatu and a dent. I mean, it's simply formatting thing. Um, I am proud and noble,
Oh, I am
Kataka
a
or Kadaka.
proud and noble. Oh, so that's a speech impediment.
Oh, I am a proud and noble. Oh, I see what that's saying. So it looked like it was saying I'm proud
Oh, right.
and noble Kataka. Do not compare me to these. And it was a weird sentence. So yeah, I would just clarify the punctuation is what threw me off on that one. So I am a proud and I would use the word if you're saying noble, I would go lowercase and it's actually Noble.
Oh, God
Nobel,
damn it.
you've got Nobel as in the Nobel Prize. So that makes sense of that. Perfect. Um, Punctuation down here. Don't hiss, you sound like a cow farting. It's disgusting, comma.
Ah,
Or sorry, comma, quotes, Julius said, period. So you got three punctuation things there. This is good. I love the flow of it. It's great. I think the wording here is just a phrasing. Matthias would run out of fat, would start to cannibalize its body.
okay.
Just a little thing there. I think you meant to say the device exploded rather than the deceive exploded here.
Yeah.
Um, I think my suggestion hit nothing important because he's already named the gun, the Beretta 93. It says Julius just smiled as his gun because you've
Hmm.
already named it before. I might do that.
My main
Um,
reason for not wanting to do that is I'm going to give Julius a bunch of different guns. So, short of giving them all like special names,
okay,
yeah,
for sure, yeah. Because that's the only gun mentioned in this scene. Am I wrong?
yeah. That no, you're right.
Yes, I might still leave it gun there, but I like where your head's at. That's great. Love this. This was great. The first time he had lost a partner. So this bit here to me was the most significant part and gave it that emotional heart, which I really, really loved. So overall, virtually nothing to recommend. What I would do though is the thing that made this scene a little anticlimactic and in my mind needed a little more juicing of the drama. I never once felt like Julius always seems to handle himself perfectly. Never really felt he was at risk or jeopardy in any significant way. And the challenge, of course, is when you have a sort of a hero who just blithely blows his way through situations and is never really looks like he's under threat. It just made the scene look like kind of a by the numbers. Okay, because the whole chapter is already just it's a long chapter with him basically taking a long time to deal with Matthias. It's really just one thing happening in the scene is how it felt. And if there is only one thing happening, which is already questionable if you want to throw something else in there. But if you just want to have this, it's mostly interesting if for at least a moment I thought Matthias might get the upper hand on Julius. Never once felt that Julius was completely in control the whole time.
Mhm.
So and it ended up being
So kick
a
Julius' ass
really
some more. Kick his ass more.
definitely, yeah. I want to feel like almost like because otherwise it's like okay you could read the first sentence and the last sentence and you wouldn't need anything in between. The rest is just like okay and get to the end because it's obvious Julius is never really at risk. So I would definitely want to put him at risk in this and be like, oh, okay, so Julius can be, he can be vulnerable, and I think that's an important thing to show in this scene. So I would build to a fever pitch where it looks like he has the upper hand of Matthias the whole time, and then suddenly it looks like the tables are turning. For a moment, we're actually worried for Julius. That would be the only major thing that I would add to this scene. Otherwise, apart from the few little cosmetic changes along the way, yeah, go. Even here, with this scene here, well, that's disappointing. Julius muttered a small part of him hoping that Watkins hadn't already been killed. His hopes crushed. He casually pulled out his gun and blew the vampire's head off. The vampire's headless body collapsed to the ground, twitching. in just a few seconds the head had regrown and the vampire whipped around. I thought, oh, so I thought like I like that, but I would stretch that out because I like this. I like the scene. What you're picturing, he blows his head off, and the head grows back. But within 3 sentences, there's no real stakes. It was like, boom, I'm back, and it happens like one short paragraph after another. So it's all happening so quickly that I just sort of thought I read through the whole thing, but I just thought, okay, cool. It's a long scene where you can pretty much tell from the beginning how it's going to end. So that's all you have to do. Like drag it out. I wouldn't go longer, but I would definitely consider a way to put Julius in jeopardy. And that's it for that scene. So I think other than that, good to go.
Okay. Did you get to chapter
And
5?
I did. So let me just pull that up now. I read the whole thing of that as well.
Perfect. Okay, quick question. Should I do chapter 5 and chapter 6, or should I do chapter 6 followed by chapter 5 in some way?
I'd have to reread 6. I only read 4 and 5. So let me just see if I can answer that quickly. Let me go back to 6.
I don't think I've had time to make the changes. I've had a busy week.
Yeah, no, good for you. I mean, you're just nailing it. I think I would. Let me just see that again. I think honestly, what I would do is I would significantly shorten scene 5 and combine 5 and 6 because basically, chapter 5 is just a conversation, um, and it's a pretty dense conversation. I'm going to go right to the end because what I try to do is I said, okay, you've got a chapter. Here's the challenge when you've got a chapter. It's good. I love the conversation. I love the dynamic between Nathaniel and Julius. I love the tension between the two, and it's great. There's a ton of information that's revealed to me without explanation. So my mind was like halfway through, it was just like locked with information. I was like, okay, Nathaniel's introduced. The council is largely introduced in a significant way. And then all these things are kind of thrown at me: wizards and alchemy, not in order, obviously. Wizards, and then wizards versus alchemists, and what's up with Ramona, and then the whole idea of the increase in paranormal activity, which seemed the most interesting thing. Finally, when that scene, you can see that I've highlighted that paragraph, that line in green. I'm like, oh, that sounds important, but it's completely buried in all of this other information. So I wasn't sure. Catechans, forgive me if I'm pronouncing it, catechans versus vampires, lesser vampires, concern about magic being exposed to the world. And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds important. Versus persecution of magical beings, Julius's fame. So there's a ton of information being thrown at me, but it's sort of like somebody saying for Lord of the Rings says, "Hey, Sauron, Saruman, what elves, this, that, and the other thing." I'm like, what? That's a lot of stuff. So I think I might consider. It just feels like this is obviously meant to be an info dump, but it's in the form of a conversation between two people. And meanwhile, there's a dynamic between the two characters, and I'm trying to figure out, wait a minute, who's this Nathaniel guy? So it's like this guy sort of enters, and then this info dump, and I'm like, I wasn't sure by the time the chapter was done what it was for, and it ends really abruptly. So I wasn't really sure what the chapter was trying to say. It sounded like it was saying a lot without really saying anything specific. So I wasn't sure what I was
Yeah,
supposed to focus on as the reader.
that makes it. It's mostly just a world building chapter to expand the universe without me having to do a lot.
Yeah, so what I might do, what I did
We
was
can just dump it and move straight to chapter 6.
I think maybe, yeah. I think there's a cool thing happening with Nathaniel, because what I'm really interested in in this chapter is who's this Nathaniel guy and what's the relationship between the two of them. The stuff that tends to stick with people is not information but emotional, sort of the emotional dynamics, conflict between characters and stuff. And I was like, okay, can we sort of maybe give me like a third the information that's here? Pick the stuff that's really relevant. Like if I was to somebody were to say, hey, did you read, Hayden's chapter 5? I did. What would you say are the really important things that get brought up? Okay. Um, this Deum Vivum, that sounds important. Don't really know much about it except that it's a council. Spelling on the word council, by the way, it's Council rather than council. That council is like a therapist. Uh, um,
I blame
I
autocorrect.
would. This is important emotionally because it has to do with Julius. It has to do with him feeling. It sort of picks up on the end of that last chapter. This This feels important, and this I don't know what it means, but it sounds important too. This sounds important, but it's so these three green, fourth green things actually old enough to know what would happen if magic and the paranormal are exposed to the wider world. I'm glad they know and understand. I don't know what they're talking about. My world would be persecuted and magic would be openly abused. That's all really good information, but because it's not connected to any, I don't know what any of it means. As opposed to being people being persecuted for these things and magic being abused secretly. That also sounds important. Don't know what it means. Don't worry, Nathaniel. The BPA will make sure that that never happens. Why? All evidence will be destroyed and all whistleblowers will be discredited. Why is that important? Assuming our budget doesn't get cut again. And then paranormal events are on the rise. And I'm like, okay, I think maybe that has something to do with the prologue, but I still don't quite understand what the events of the prologue have to do with anything that's happened since the prologue. They're still waiting for that connection point. This feels like it's trying to connect it 6 chapters later. So all of the green stuff sounds important. And so I think what I would do if I were you is I would go back to this chapter, pull out, assuming I'm right, pull out the green stuff and say, okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff thrown at the audience, but they don't have any way of connecting it to the story yet because they still don't know what the story is. The only thing we know for sure is that a girl got almost raped in a graveyard and then turned into something else. And there's this Matthias guy, and he sounds really important. And Julius is a BPA agent with a dead guy who, he's had a sequence of dead recruits. But I still don't know what the story is. I still don't really have a clue what's going on. There's a bunch of stuff going on, and I don't yet know how they connect. This is cool. Maybe I like what Nathaniel's throwing at him. Hey, maybe if you come join us. Why would he want him to come join him? I still don't know what the Day of Vivum is. I got little bits earlier. Why would he suggest this? Does Nathaniel want him to do this? And this sounds like it could be important, this bit here. So if someone were to say, what are the key things? And I would say, I think that to Hayden, these things are, and this part too, sorry. Of course, the one reveal that we do get about the Day of Vivum, which is good. But again, somehow, back to your original question, should you dump this chapter and just go on to chapter 6? I do like seeing Nathaniel and Julius together. I do like Nathaniel sort of alluding to the idea that maybe he should come join him. I do like the allusion down here at the bottom. Hey, you're more than a few. That's the other thing too. More than a few people want to meet the infant. I'm like, oh, okay. If it was me, I would probably take all of these green things, line them up on a page, and say, okay, what do I think the audience really needs to know at this point of all of this stuff? Pick one or two of them and then decide what more does the audience need to know for any of this to make sense. So it sounds like chapter 5 ends up coming across.
I'm only doing this because we had to expand the entire graveyard scene for Ramona.
Yeah. The audience is definitely needing to know what the story is at some point. I'm okay, actually. Right now, the only thing I know for sure is that a bunch of guys got attacked in the prologue, that Julius is a BPA agent who goes through recruits while they're dealing with all this paranormal and supernatural stuff that's going on. I don't know what all that supernatural stuff is about yet. I know there's a council, but more importantly, I know this girl was attacked and she's become something powerful. So right now, the clearest thing that's by the time I get to chapter 5, and I would probably include chapter 6, by the time I get to chapter 6, I'm assuming the story is about Ramona, because hers is the only storyline so far that's been clear and that has, a sort of a logical connection. And I'm okay with that. I'm actually okay with the story up until chapter 6 being almost entirely about Ramona. And then starting in chapter 6 or 7, whatever, you start to explain what any of this means. Prologue plus Ramona getting turned plus Julius and the BPA equals what? Tell me now. Now, I think by the time you get to chapter 6 or 7, the audience or the readers who clearly are enjoying your story, clearly you've got people who are in on this. Right about now, I'm guessing they're going, okay, this has all been really cool and fun to read. I really need someone to explain to me what the story is. What's the big picture? What is going on here? What does the prologue and Ramona and the BPA and Julius and now this council and all of these creatures that have been mentioned. What's going on? And I think that's what I would focus on. So yeah, I'm with you. I think I might shelve chapter 5, but not the information. I would use basically chapter 5 as kind of a lexicon of stuff that you need to sort of
So
reveal at
shove
some point.
chapter 5 into chapter 6, the bottom end.
I think so, yeah. And the useful stuff, and then meanwhile in the back of your head, task yourself with the idea that the audience pretty quickly is going to need you to give them a big picture understanding of what's going on. That's the exchange you made, as nearly as I can tell, going from what you had originally. See, the magic of what you had originally. No, I'm not saying go back to it, but the original thing where you had the monologue and this explanation of the world is, it was super clear to me what was going on. It was very clear to me that there's this Earth and there's these other sort of realms or parallel universes, or however you describe that, and something was about to cause them to clash into one another, which explains why we have this sudden explosion of paranormal activity and the need for Julius to get Kraken. That was the magic of your original thing, where we had him and Jack or Jake, his original guy. Yeah. When in the original version, when the outpost was attacked and these guys were sent in to figure out what happened, and then they went in, and the closer they got in, the more they realized that there was this sudden proliferation of creatures going on, and they're like, oh god, I don't know what this means, but we're up to something. It was super clear to me what the story was then. I was like, okay, yep, I got it. This new version that you've got going on has some really, what you've done, what that other one lacked a little bit was just tight human moments, like the graveyard scene, which is fucking great, and everything else like that. Now we've gone from the macro to the micro, but I have no idea what the macro is. So what I might do is decide, okay, fair, before the audience knew from the beginning what the whole thing was about, sort of like Star Wars with the opening crawl. It says there's a time that, the Galactic Empire is going to control, and the rebellion has to somehow conquer the Galactic Empire. Okay, lots of details not filled in, but at least with Star Wars, I know, okay, bad guys, good guys got to stop the bad guys before they blow up every planet in the galaxy. Got it. So that's your big, to me, macro note. But in terms of the way your writing is getting cleaner and crisper. I'm also not overanalyzing it for needing it to be, high novel quality. You're wanting it to be good enough to get published. So that's the way I read chapter 4, and it works for me. So what I'll do next week is I'll read chapter 6, but I would keep chapter 5 on the shelf as a good source of information that you're going to have to hit us with later, and see what's the best way. And I'll look at chapter 6 and see if you've done it. What's the best way to bring the audience up to speed as to what the bigger story is that's going on in the background, so that I understand the significance of Ramona and what happened in the prologue and who the hell the BPA are and what Julius is up to and where he fits in all of this. Great characters, though. You've got I care about all of these characters. Julius and Ramona, the thing that's been consistent in both versions of the story is that I know who they are and I like them.
Maybe I should go back to chapter 2, have Matthias ramble on about some of the stuff that might be coming.
Maybe. That's not a bad idea. Actually, I like that without getting wordy. Yeah, maybe that's what you do, is you have Matthias do more than say, hey, I brought you here to rape you or eat you or whatever the case would be. It says, like, if he's got some clue as to like what I'm doing here in this graveyard, the reason we're going to find out he's so brazenly doing this in a graveyard, and that's not normal, as Julius points out later, hints at, this is only the beginning. Beginning of what? Right. And then we get to sort of, you could start opening the door of like, something's going on. But that one phrase in this chapter, there's more that Nathaniel brings up. There's more paranormal activity going on now than ever before, and that's normal. That is like ding, 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 ding. That's that moment where I'm like, oh, that sounds like it's what the story is. Let me clear away all this other stuff. Tell me more about that. The paranormal, which is what the graveyard scene, to me, the significance of it is not only is it a great scene on its own, but it's pointing to a larger problem that's coming.
It's a little more on the nose on that, and then reiterate that in, I guess it's going to be chapter 8 now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but full speed ahead. That was good. Four was nice and tight. I loved it, breezy and good, and it's short, and that was good.
Maybe I'll add Julius getting his ass kicked a little more, but
That's a great idea. Yeah, for sure. And I'll just send you the notes. Chapter 4, 5.
part of my problem with making Julius get his ass kicked is that he's supposed to be this high end BPA super agent, and if he gets his ass kicked, then that doesn't really sell that point.
Well, that's where I would probably disagree with you because I think the challenge is that you've shown him so many times as the man. You know, like think of any superhero. I mean, any superhero. That's what you do with every single. Not that he's a superhero. That's what you do with every superhero. I mean, Iron Man becomes interesting, or Superman becomes interesting when there's either Kryptonite or Lois Lane involved. Oh, you mean the guy who seems completely invulnerable actually had an Achilles heel? That's what I love about him actually having
Yeah,
an
but
emotional
they have to
reaction to
show
Watkins dying.
they have to show them being badass in the first place before they can start cutting them down. Otherwise, it doesn't mean anything. Superman
Oh,
getting
fair. Is this
Superman
the
getting
first time that he does that?
yeah, this is his first fight scene.
Oh, then I would make this.
Superman beating up a guy doesn't really mean jack shit if everyone seems to be able to hurt him.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. Then I would probably go way shorter on the scene because if you're not going to show him be vulnerable in this moment, because that's a great point you're raising, then it felt like just a really long fight. It felt like the ending of Man of Steel. I was like, if he's that good, does it need to take him 4 or 5 pages to take care of this guy? I mean, I recognize he's a super involved, Matthias is something to deal with, but then it really feels just like long.
Also,
Again,
like the next fight, Matthias gets more of an upper hand on him.
sure. Yeah, however you want to play it, it just felt like if he's never vulnerable, if this is just a showing him take care of himself, it should be way quicker in my mind. If that's the case, then I would have him take care of Matthias in about half the pages and go into Ramona.
Hmm.
Because otherwise it just felt like a really long scene. Again, back to the original problem with in my mind with it. And the only real problem with it is it just felt like a really long and drawn out scene where I already knew from the beginning how it was going to end. If there's no vulnerability on Julius's part at all, take half the time to have the fight happen, and then just go into Ramona. Would be my recommendation anyway.
Okay.
Where are we here? Chapter 5. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. And I'll send you the notes right here. Yeah, it was.
Just a
I'm loving
heads
it.
up, the chapters after this is the school eating and private eye. In school eating, Matthias massacres a small school club, and eats exsanguinates them and then rips out their livers, hearts, and brains. And Julius tracks him down by checking through the school yearbooks for Matthias's picture and image because he's a vampire. He's been going there for years because it's familiar.
Mm-hmm. Lovely. Can't wait.
And Ramona tracks him in the next chapter after that, Private Eye. Ramona goes back to the hospital where they first met, breaks into the medical records room, finds Matthias's folder, and then finds out where he lives through that. And then they both meet up in the next chapter after that to deal with Matthias together.
I love it. Awesome. Okay, well, keep me keep me posted on that
updates to
then.
Woodland Cemetery, few updates to Julius v Vampire, and completely refitting Interview and Magic Council.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. I might end up making Interview and Magic Council still 2 chapters, but just they might just get a little unrulyly long, so I might need to split them up still, so 50-50.
Okay, sounds good.
Fair enough.
I'll send you the notes here right away,
sure.
And we'll take it from there. Next week, same time works for you?
Same, 5:30 or 8:30?
Oh, let's do 5:30. The only let's keep it with 5:30. The only reason we would need to change is if what happened today happened. I've got some production coming up in the next month, but it shouldn't block us next week.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sure. See you next
week. Awesome.
Bye.
Okay, take care, Hayden. Bye-bye.
Excuse me, sir. Mind if I take a little peek at you? I promise I'll be brief. My goodness, what a strapping physique. Capable of an astounding variety of acts of violence.
What's happening? This must be the squirrel that tends the world tree.
That delectable aroma. Pardon the intrusion. Ah, yes. Amber resin. Delightfully nutty with a hint of squidding.
No.
Not one for gastronomic exploration, I see.
Wait, you're Ratatosker. Why are you so different when we summon you for help?
It's a long story. Oh. But you are correct. I am indeed Ratatosker. The one you know as Ratatosker is merely one of my spectral aspects. And a particularly nasty one at that. I consider him so far removed from myself that he's practically a different person. Speaking of, Bitter, would you like to come out and see your friends?
Fuck off! I'm busy!
I suppose that was the excuse. Anyway, now that I've polished off all this resin for you, would you like the seed back? Seed of Brazil, to be precise. Since my dwarven tenants performed their little reconfiguration, you'll need seeds like these to open up new destinations on my tree.
Your tree, huh?
Yes, here, show you. Excuse me, sir. Mind if I take a little peek at you? I promise I'll be brief. My goodness, what a strapping physique. Capable of an astounding variety of acts of violence.
Happening. This must be the squirrel that tends the world tree.
That delectable aroma.
Do
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the... Nope. Eventually, after wondering, they found the mistress. She told them that they were gods, and that this was the universe. She told them that her purpose was to punish things called mortal, and that their purpose was to control the material plane. A few asked more questions. They wished to know what came before them, and what came after. They wished to know the true meaning of the universe. The mistress whispered her knowledge to these few, and they broke the plane, but nothing compared to entropy. The mistress had a wisdom, that is. The gods respected the knowledge. Planets compacted themselves in the gravity. Asteroid fields. The gods spent millions at its creation. It was not elegant, right, to make a react to its environment through a lifeless field of its planet. The gods were thrilled to see this rock. Sure, suns and asteroids move faster, seem to move, while having control over it. The envy made them make their own rocks. Groups sprouted all throughout the universe. Others wanted the rocks to interact with the planet. A few just gave the rocks the ability to make new rocks and watched as they multiplied and bumped into it. Not out of malice, but because they truly believed that they're out the right way by any means necessary. Lesson tribalism. They could make the rocks that moved with energy of the sun and not from the gods, which allowed for even more rocks to become. Another realized motionless rocks they collected that energy so that the moving ones could harness it later. Lastly, lost cold flesh. that was much eat, but the new plants could handle it fine. The planets were given true life, with the full not budge on their ways of playing with their new animals. Seeing that the others would not see reason, it talked, it built it. The worship of the first mortals gave them all of the thing that now ate their minds like a parasite that gave them another mortals and gave them strength and speed. The gods of knowledge blessed their children with wisdom, gave their creations the ability. The three groups realized something. The gods whispered in the ears of mortals and told them how asteroid mining, and eventually told them that others would try and take these luxuries from them. Both planets cracked and reformed, though one of them became a moon. The sphere with steam. Great forests appeared, and those are soon filled with all manner of life. No gods to guide them. They had no help on how to survive. The only thing that they had close to a god was a mistress, which they all only met in hell. They lacked gods, so they made their own. Those were their gods of war, the curiosity, those, the greed of the wealthy, the megalomania of the rulers. Those were their gods, tailor-made by a god, but one of their own design, fueled by their will to explore and their spite towards a universe that had tried to hardest to kill them, and that they, much like the insane god, the gods found the humans only a year after they had discovered FTL, mostly because no one had ever done such a thing without the gods of knowledge were ecstatic at the scientific and art. No one could agree about who would get the humans, get the godless species. The gods clashed. Eventually, it became clear that the Great War was too expensive of a piece of humanity they could. The divine fleet gods called their brothers to come back soon, that they were worried. In response, 3 gigantic fleets appeared, each turned towards the domain of one group of gods, sick trophies. The gods of war, knowledge, and lust, with no more, fought towards the humans. The gods fought with less strength and numbers. They wept for their fallen, knew would never work. They soon became find that the godless monsters had colonized hell. Their pride was gone, their thirst for power. It didn't matter. Learn of the starships that soar out from the kingdom of soul never fail to impress me. Yesterday's
They were met with even more danger than the jungle, as these temple gods wielded fire aspect swords.
Fire aspect, alright.
Although they were low in numbers, they successfully cleared out the entrance, disarmed the trap, and discovered that the gods were coming from spawners.
Oh, there's a spawner.
However, instead of breaking them, they decided to clear out the doorway and tunnel directly to the loot room, finding a notch apple, diamond, the plan, so half of them gathered on top of the temple and placed water, while Squid Kid broke into the side and melted the snowmen using lava. One by one, they cleared out the spawners, and while this was happening, I flew into the loot room and decided to check a chest just to make sure they actually had loot inside, and I set off a TNT trap that I planted myself. Somehow, I managed to place water just before it exploded, and genuinely couldn't believe what just happened. Oh my. So I placed back the chest while the Arctic players cleared out the final few snowmen and entered the loot room, finding a notch apple, diamonds, and other amazing loot. The Arctic and desert civilizations spent the rest of day 4 trying to advance further, while the jungle civilizations seemed to just be relaxing in the jungle village. Everyone jump if you like Genshin Impact. Yo!
Oh, Genshin Impact, hell yeah, baby!
Staying on surface actually turned out to be useful for the Jungle Kingdom, as on day 5, the next world event shortly begun. Town building. Players now had to travel towards a beacon within their region and spend the next 10 Minecraft days building a town center. Staff then get to vote on each build, allowing each civilization to earn a different tier of supply drop depending on their position. Each contained different amounts of diamonds, food, and books depending on their tier, and the worst supply drop also has an interesting surprise inside. And guys, before we we continue any further, this video took a very long time to make since everything is custom, so if you want to see more content like this and help out the channel, you should definitely subscribe if you're in that 90% who aren't already. I'm gonna keep making these crazy videos, and you definitely don't want to miss them. Also, if you want to be in these civilization videos, then follow me on Twitter. That's where I post the applications. The Arctic and desert civilizations knew they had limited blocks to build with and had to be resourceful, so the Arctic collected blocks from the Dwarven fortress, shared some leaves, and collected snow to use on their winter town, but the desert had a slightly different approach, bringing the zombie of their fallen teammate who suffocated in sand at the beginning of the game all the way to their new town location by boat. Yeah, we'll check on this guy later. Eventually, after a long journey, each civilization migrated to their new location and begun creating the foundations of their town centers. After the towns had made some progress, I decided to visit each civilization to see how they were getting along. When I teleported to the jungle, I saw them creating a panda village with a slightly small population. Welcome to Panda Village. There's 2 pandas. Oh, there's 3. There's 4! The jungle town actually looked really good. Their hard work, combined with Starkiller's leadership, gave them a very good chance of winning the build competition. But this is where the upcoming king election event made things very interesting. During this event, one player from every civilization will be voted as king, giving them double health, an elytra built into their armor, and a protection 5 crown. In the jungle, Starkiller was currently in line for the throne, already being given a gold crown to wear by his people. But another jungle player by the name of Eyes had been caving since day 1, slowly becoming the most powerful player out of every civilization.
Oh, what? Yes, please be 7, man. This looks like it's bigger. 3? Yup, it's 7. That's it. I'm full diamond. Oh, what? How did I just find a spawner? That's crazy. Water protection. Of all the things I could have found in a chest, water protection, I'll take the string. Oh, water protection 2? Man, come on, a golden apple though.
Eyes arrived on surface determined to become king, and met up with his ally Saitama, who informed him about the player in his way.
The star guy's being really charismatic and I think we kill him before he even gets selected.
They traveled to the island next to the town to secretly enchant, knowing that a revolution may have to take place for Eyes to get the throne, and they didn't want to give their possible assassination targets any more gear than necessary. Oh my, you guys are stacked.
I'm incredibly stacked, and you know, there's some funky business going on over there that we're gonna have to iron out. People think they're in charge.
A player then stumbled into them on the beach, and they quickly hit the enchantment table.
Hello, sir. You're kind of low.
Wasn't the cave with the how it's called block?
They were trying to get him to leave so they could keep enchanting, but he kept talking.
We have a lot of stuff, so.
But they might have some stuff over there on the island.
So I go there and
Yeah, I talked to them, buddy, yeah, okay.
So, they were finally alone again, until, moments later, when Starkiller himself and his second-in-command crossed the river to greet Aizen Saitama into the civilization with a friendly welcome that wasn't Very reciprocated.
Hey guys. Special thanks to Established Titles for sponsoring the.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing her.
Are you meeting Ava today?
Yes, and I've already made you dinner. Sorry for leaving you alone on the weekend.
Don't be sorry. You guys haven't seen each other for so long. Have fun.
Thank you. I always spend a relaxing. I decided to meet Ava and hang out after that. I arrived early. Hi, Savannah. It's been forever. Hi, Ava. Wow, your belly has got so much bigger. How many months? 7. We talked for a few restaurant. I'll have risotto and a lunch. For me, I'll get pasta, bologna, or after ordering our food, we talked about how lives have been. What about your husband? How is he treating you? I bet you get along very well. Yeah, I guess. Get along fine. We talked about trivial things. I started to feel something was not right halfway through our conversation. Before I knew it, my forehead was cold sweat. I started to feel some gas. How was he treating you? Next, how do you feel? I spent a few more hours, didn't want him. Fine. I only person. I've always been. So my husband always called. Like, I didn't think today. Maybe we should meet it today. He and took the bus. What? Everything looking. And it's not the first time. Ava showed me the baby's ultrasound. I'm juice. Didn't want him to down. I'm not gonna forgive you. What is recorded for that? Ava suffered shock by what was between Ava in the video. You is this me? I saw my stuff. No, Ashley, he's begged me to. A week later, sent me told me she had lost. It was my fault and asked me to help, so I fainted. I can't believe I have.
Hey, so you developed an alternative personality to me? Your violent alternate personality comes out. Latte and get along simultaneously? You're violent and fine most of the time since you don't drink lattes.
I know she loves coffee. It kind of bothered me.
Ava probably knows about.
She knew. I've already done enough.
She had met your alter before to her. But if she intentionally said those words when she knew well enough what.
My husband found out Ava divorced her husband. So she hatched a plot. The ultrasound image she showed me was an old one she got from a friend. She also hid the date intentionally. After my husband sent Ava the evidence collected by I almost did it! I knew. The way she acts now is even Ava's ex-husband. We're both on ex-husband. Everything. I started going to psychiatrist.
This began with Boulder. Boulder of Asgard just knocked on your door.
Yeah, he just showed up and started a fight. He said he wanted to know something. He said, I know what you are.
Oh, well, we'll circle back to that later. What exactly did he want to know?
He said I already wanted. Perhaps he mistook me for another.
That's quite interesting.
God, I don't know where you are. I don't know if you can hear me.
I'm old enough to know that a longer life isn't always a better one.
couldn't see him.
Please, if you're a studio executive, you were watching this, everything is so corporate. You know, it's like, what did Francis Ford Coppola say? Factory filmmaking. Just take the drivers from Fast and the Furious and put them in the Transformers. Cars. I miss loving Star Wars. I miss loving it. And I don't want to watch it. Or how many times I've seen the first 5 or 10 minutes of a movie, I want to watch it. Or if I could just do the snap that Thanos did, I would get rid of every franchise reboot post probably 92. You know, where's the movie that we all love, without debate, that we've all loved? In an age where most movies are pretty bad, I always try to, like, when you look at, especially I think one of the, and how that was, you know, bungled, how that was bungled, how the Star Wars franchise was bungled, how they could not. I mean, to me, I'm the studio executive in charge of Star Wars, and we're making a new Star Wars movie, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put Han, Luke, and Leia in a scene together. And the fact that that moment, we will never be able to have that moment in cinema when Carrie Fisher was alive, that to me is, I mean, that's malpractice. That's studio malpractice. The fact that they had what Zack Snyder's vision, what he was building up to be, I think seeing the 4-hour final product of what Zack Snyder's Justice League turned out to be, and that they made this garbage thing, Joss Whedon. I mean, it's disheartening to me to see that. I will say on an indie level, I tend to take like a glass half full view, and I tend to always look for the positive when it comes to indie films, because you cannot compare you can't compare an indie movie shot in 12 days, all sorts of noting and committees and this thing, and this is where you end up with, you know, that last Star Wars movie by J.J. Abrams is unwatchable. I mean, it's garbage. It's exactly it.
At a loss for word to lay down arms. Abandon my mission. Don't have to fight.
I'll spare us for now. You're past talking down. Kane, you're fully mental.
Oh, I prefer to think I've finally gotten clear. When I made my bargain with Lucifer, killed Abel, I released a stain upon the earth. Stain deeper, far more lasting than mere precedent.
Your bloodline, so you say.
So I know. Not all killers are my descendants, and not all my descendants are killers, but enough are. Enough for me to know that extinguishing them is the least I owe this world. Can you honestly tell me that humanity's not better off with fewer Tommies, fewer Leons, fewer yous?
Yeah, what about the kid?
You could go either way. I prefer to be thorough. How's it feel, Dean? Holding the blade again.
It feels like a means to an end.
You're holding back. What is it, Dean? Do you think if you hold back just enough, you won't succumb? That you'll leave this fight the same as you entered? Look to my example, boy! There is no resisting the mark or the blade. There is only remission and relapse! There's no resisting if you won't succumb. That you'll leave this fight the same as you entered? Look to my example, boy! There is no resisting the mark or the blade. There is only remission and relapse! My example, boy! There is no resisting the mark or the blade. There is only remission and relapse!
You told me that this day would come. You told me that I would have to kill you.
Good my intentions here, Dean. When your pet angel found my burial site, I thought about ending him.
To all of us. To all of us.
Vessels, a willing audience.
Who put Crowley in charge? He's the king. He's a salesman.
Right now, you and I are going to talk about a regime change.
You're ours. Your demon ass is going to be immortal ass. Pretty damn quick. Where do I start to even look for forgiveness? How about we start with this? You're human? Zeke? Castiel cannot stay here. He won't bring the angels down on all of us. He's warded. He was warded when April found him. Castiel is in danger, and if he is here,
But you called the hotline.
you did.
Get me off it, Jake. Okay.
I found an ancient codex linking the angel script to Proto-Elamite cuneiform, and I was able to translate the tablet and the footnote to Elamite, which is
Doodles.
16.
Can you read it?
No one can. Scholars have tried for.
So it's a dead end.
And not quite. Now, most Proto-Elamite is abstract, but I was able to decipher one phrase from the trunk. Falling angel.
Okay, so the footnotes refer to Metatron's spell?
Maybe.
Zimmerman's Encyclopedia of Extinct Languages, Volume 1. The Die to Atacapa. How many volumes are there?
24. Don't worry, we got him.
Oh.
Strange substance at the scenes.
Well, hell out of you. Exactly, Chatty Cathy. I'm in a case. That's why I'm just gonna.
Sleeping bag on the tool locker?
Yes, I wanted to.
I've been afraid to ask. I don't want to take advantage of you as my...
We got nothing. Whoa, crap. Outed. So, Thule.
No, I already ruled them out. The bodies were vaporized. They weren't burned.
That sounds like a real case. Me and I should be there.
No.
Socially and room...
I can help with that.
What?
You're doing it.
I think you had to lay low from the angel threat, but,
What it was when I fell to Earth. I didn't just lose my powers. Your manager's busy. I even prepared the food. Tori, say,
wow.
I've been politely asking, reading a week. This is what favorites the ancient. Yes.
Like it or not, there's still a little part of you not a douche. Crowley, the only be, I guess.
No finesse.
Bitch is. Give you up to Abaddon.
Think you can threaten me with that hack? So fury. No finesse.
Not so sure. The last encounter with Abaddon, she was pretty terrifying. Scarier than you've been in years.
I failed being an. Everything I ever. Well, dignity in what I do. Human dignity.
Hate to interrupt you guys, but Steve, customer had an accident.
Wouldn't be much use. I don't have my powers.
Oh, I've never had powers.
You are a hunter.
And you're a hunter in.
Shift's over.
Second, we're talking.
Kind of bum. This wrong.
Seen this before.
What? Where?
In heaven.
What do you say? Did this?
It's no. Enochian for Hands of Mercy. They function like medics. They tended to the wounded. They healed those who healed, but for the mortally wounded, those who were past saving, Rita Zian's job was to put them down.
For the granulated bodies?
This was their special ability. This way of smiting so quick and so total that it rendered death virtually painless.
Yeah, but these aren't wounded angels that they're vaporizing. They're people.
I don't know. Rita Zian home in on pain. It's like a beacon to them. So when this angel fell to earth, he heard the victims' cries, their anguish. Same as he'd hear in angels in heaven. He's continuing his heaven work down here, one suffering human at a time.
Yeah, but this last victim was not suffering. It was just a normal, moody kid.
But he just got here. The ebb and flow of human emotion. Pain. I've been on Earth for a few years, and I've only begun to grasp it. To him, pain is pain.
So everybody's fair game. All right, well, we gotta stop it.
You have to stop him.
You're scared. All right, I'll try to live a normal life.
King and a power mad knight of hell isn't enough for you? You want to throw a demonic team up into them?
On telephone call.
Seriously? You want to let Crowley communicate with Abaddon? A king and a power mad knight of hell isn't enough.
Right. Enough. Okay.
Good luck with that translation.
Inferni sectatore.
Crowley.
1-7. I've been placed on hold.
Just don't.
Crime scene, married couple.
You know, just when you think you do understand.
She was a hardline atheist, no peach herself, and he got himself obsessed with a bloody oil wax job. Pretty bad marriage couple.
Okay.
Oh, Castiel. Price.
Ever, Ephraim. It will pass.
You remember my name. I was just a nobody. You
Understand about humanity at first. Just stop.
allow me.
Touch her.
You think I came for her? No, Castiel. I came for you.
How in the hell are you?
Because you're warded? Same way I find all my...
They think you're doing heaven's work down here.
I know I am.
Earth can be a hard place. These humans.
The best that the famed Castiel can do. You're a more urgent case than I.
are the numbers?
You mean souls? I've managed to double in your projections. Now, how did I ever pull off such a feat?
You're taking souls before their time. Voiding my contracts.
That's right. I'm taking it all down. Brick by brick. It's over. The days of Crowley, the king of bureaucrats, are done.
It'll be over soon.
May look like bean counting to you. May lack a certain adolescent way. Works! You think you can control hell, chaos alone, without the support of those who are still loyal to me?
No one's seen you in weeks, and last I saw you, Howdy and Doody had you tied up nice and tight. Seems to reason they've turned you into a kennel dog. How does it feel, Crowley? Of nice Chester's nothing to offer me. You have. I can't.
Your way.
Crowley.
Bring me the translation. Obtain the ingredient. Heart, bone, grace, blah, blah, blah. Mix until the smoke shall rise from the ashes, casting angels from heaven, blah, blah. Oh. Irreversible. What? The spell can't be undone. New world order. Stuck with it.
You've already given up. You chose death.
Withstand any attempt to reverse it. There's no putting the angels back in. Keep her right down.
Flair and glory is ours.
Again, I didn't have a choice. So what, you decide to trick me into being possessed by some psycho angel?
I know who you really are. Gadriel?
I will join you as second in command.
Here's the first name on your to-do list.
No! I save Sam. I leave here a free man.
Take control, Sam! Cast him out!
Save your life. The thought of somebody else being hurt because of me, I can't live with that. Kevin's blood is on my hands. I'll find Gadriel. That will.
Underground, no matter what happens. The night must be protected.
Like destroying archangels used to execute the first.
It's of hell at exactly the dying kind.
There is something in Killer Night. The weapon, Archangel. The closest I got to it was when one of my droogs, Smitty, got me with a protege, demon protege. It's a
I miss you, PB&J.
Not some of its parts, huh?
And unsettling.
What? What are you talking about?
When I was human, you know, and to eat constantly. Kind of annoying.
Yeah, a lot of human things are pretty annoying.
But I enjoyed the taste of food, particularly peanut butter with grape jelly, not jam. Jam I found unsettling.
So, what? Now you can't taste PB&J?
No, I taste every molecule.
Not some of its parts, huh?
overwhelming. Disgusting. I miss you, PB&J. You need to continue your healing.
What?
Nothing.
You're a terrible liar.
That is not true. I once deceived and betrayed both you and your brother.
That's not the point. Guess. What's wrong?
Notice something resonating inside you.
What?
Something angelic.
Okay, the hell does that mean?
Maybe we should call Dean.
We are the furthest from the family.
Sorry. When I've been inside you, brother. Go anyway.
So much terror. You mentioned the first blade.
I love it when I'm right.
Yeah, well, the rest of the files in genius.
The departed shall remain, and the remains shall be the departed. Piece of the departed contains grace.
But you're saying there's angelic grace inside of me?
Yes. But it's fading each time I heal you.
Okay, is that good or bad?
Well, harmless. The grace itself might be helpful. According to this, we may be able to use the grace that remains inside you too. Men of letters believe that you could perform. You have a guinea pig? Spell with extracted grace. Never able. Any idea where that is?
You worked a job with my... So, John Winchester ring a bell? I'm his son.
You Sam or Dean?
Dean.
You grow up pretty. Still in the family business?
They're born and raised. It's a bunch of you.
Human
Job with my dad. Me and my associate here.
Ever since '92, I get a painful little tickle in what's left of my knee whenever a demon is.
Hunters. So trusting. I'll go grab a latte while you get the sword.
Good there. Devil's Trap under the knockoff Persian jackass.
Yeah. Oh, he's a Winchester. There's a reason why we're working.
Associate.
Friends, besties. Actually.
Not helping.
Not caring.
Look, I'm the king of hell. He's a Winchester. There's a reason why we're working together.
Yeah. Called possession.
See? I'm good. Okay? Yes, you're right. He is a jackass, but he's helping me.
Helping you with what?
You and my old man found a demon who knew something about the first blade. We need to find that blade.
Well, you are as handsome as John. And as dumb, too, if you're looking for that old relic.
We're hunting a night of hell.
Why? They're all dead.
One came back. Abaddon.
The demon said the archangels used a weapon that could kill the Knights of Hell. We'd never heard of anything like the Knights of Hell, or First Blade. Your dad thought he was lying, trying to save him. We took him out. And we had a lovely weekend together. Your dad thought he was...
We're hunting a night of hell.
Why? They're all dead.
One came back. Abaddon.
The demon said the archangels used a weapon that could kill the Knights of Hell. We'd never heard of anything like the Knights of Hell, or a First Blade. Your dad thought he was lying, trying to save him. We took him out. And we had a lovely weekend together. Then we went our separate ways. But I could never let the blade go. Something like that could really give a hunter an edge, you know? I looked all over the world. Destroyed my knee and my life. And all I found? A location spell for the blade that I could never finish. Couldn't find one ingredient. Essence of Kraken.
Kraken? Got a warehouse full of Kraken essence of police. Break the trap. I can be there and back before you start.
If your daddy could see you now.
I can help.
Abaddon? Way worse. I'll deal with Corelli after. Trust me.
You sound just like your dad. When he said he'd call me.
Tell me.
Never.
Missouri. Figures.
Care to join us?
Him anytime.
Wait. What? Feeling something? Cramps? I feel something dark. More darker than you? Oh, no. We need to leave here now. What are you allergic to bees? Not beekeeper. It's the father of murder. Sorry, who? Cain. As in Cain and Abel. Cain. Need to be a world away from him. From him.
You're not going anywhere. Crowley.
I'd never leave my domestic partner in crime. Yeah. Your heart grew 3 sizes. Can't zap out of here, can you? Cain's doings. Such a day for getaways, is it? All right, so tell me about this Cain. After Cain killed Abel, he became a demon. What do you mean became a demon? And he became the deadliest demon to walk the face of the earth. Killed thousands. The best at being the worst. And then he just disappeared. Everyone thought he was dead, or at least hoped he was.
Either of you keep bees?
It's very...
What are the keep? No, is why you're looking for me. More importantly, how you found me.
Ah, it's a funny story, really. Bit of a misunderstanding. You really should... Oh, you gotta teach me how to do that.
Why are you here, Dean?
We're looking for the weapon the Archangels used to kill the Knights of Hell. The first blade. We need it to kill the Knight of Hell. Abaddon. Look, I get it. You're retired. Okay, we're not here to get between you and the demonic AARP. But it's bad out there, and I'm just looking to even the odds.
One last time, how did you find me?
We didn't. The location spell was for the blade. One-time deal.
Anyone else know you're here?
No.
Friends passed through.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
Big guy, kind of funny ears.
Well, it's been a pleasure having company. For once a century, I see the part about you being brave rings true.
What can I say? I'm an...
That I trained the Knights of Hell.
Abaddon is the last Knight of Hell. And if you're out of the game, what the hell do you care if she dies?
If your friend here could talk, he would tell you that I trained the Knights of Hell. I built that entire demonic order with my own hands, Abaddon included.
Well, that is information I could have used 5 minutes ago.
Well, here's something your friend doesn't know. And no one knows, in fact, outside of Abaddon. It wasn't the archangels that slaughtered the knights. It was me.
Why did you turn on your own?
Once again, I admire your bravery. But if you'll excuse me, I have errands to run in town. Goodbye, Dean Winchester. Never return.
But we're not leaving. Got it? What's up?
You and Dean, you chose it.
Cass, I could have closed the gates of hell.
Oh, Sam,
Dean! I mean, settling your debts.
Shane, let's go.
Hey.
You'll never believe what the Winchester and Crowley found. Send backup. Send everybody.
What? I need to push the needle in deeper. We need more grace in it.
Dude, enough grace for so many spells. I figured out why he went off the reservation so many years ago. I don't suppose they're with you.
Gorgeous, by the way.
No.
Get off. Wait any longer. Your friend Tara was very helpful. Got downright chatty. After I peeled all her skin off. We don't want any trouble, Kane. Just want the so-called...
We're done. This lot will need to die. I count too many.
Well, good luck. Truly have lived up house before I disappear again. It's the least I can do. Hired. You survive, you're welcome.
Gabriel.
Why must the Winchesters run? Be protected at all costs. Even a life is...
Corn?
Demon bathroom walls?
What am I not getting here? I mean, it's not like you're a coward.
Since when does the great Dean Winchester ask for help? Well, it doesn't sound like the man I've read about on demon bathroom walls. Maybe you've lost a step. Let's find out.
Doing great.
Isn't it past your bedtime? But I'm Crowley. You're good.
Right. So what was this, some kind of a test?
I felt connected to you right from the beginning. Kindred spirits, if you will. You and I are very much alike.
Right. Yeah, except I didn't kill my brother.
You saved yours. Why?
Because you never give up on family. Ever.
Where's your brother now, then? Sorry, Dean.
What the hell?
Your wounds completely.
And the grace?
Well, whatever grace was inside you is gone now. What's left of Gadriel is in here. But nothing is worth losing. I mean, I can late means to... You know.
Power. Me.
Really? Now?
It's the bloody mark of Cain.
Lucifer himself. The mark and the blade work together. Without the mark, the blade is useless. It's just an old bone.
Oh, the jawbone of an animal. The jawbone you used to kill Abel. Because he was God's favorite.
Abel wasn't talking to God. He was talking to Lucifer. Lucifer was going to make my brother into his pet. I couldn't bear to watch him be corrupted, so I offered a deal. Abel's soul in heaven for my soul in hell. Lucifer accepted. As long as I was the one who sent Abel to heaven. So I killed him. Became a soldier of hell. A knight.
And Lucifer ordered you to make more.
My knights and I, we did horrible things. Centuries. Bringers of chaos and darkness.
Then you met Colette.
She knew who I was. Dang.
Just stop.
When the Knights found out, they took retribution.
Not all of them.
Colette. To me, Abaddon!
We can make this right. Can't we, King? Come back to us.
Come back to me.
I'm done.
With the Knight?
You chose her. Well, if I can't have you, then neither was she.
And I will kill her. Oh, bitch. But I have to stop Abaddon. But I'm not.
You never give up on anything, do you?
Never.
Well, I do.
Kane? Kane! I'll stay as long as I can. Aren't you?
I know who I am. And what I am.
You mean a killer like you? You in or out? I'm getting head spins.
I can give you the mark, Dean, if it's what you truly want.
What are you talking about?
The mark can be transferred to someone who's worthy.
You mean a killer like you?
Yes.
Can I use it to kill that bitch?
Yes. But you have to know, with the mark comes a great burden. Some would call it a great cost.
Yeah, well, spare me the warning label. You had me kill the bitch.
Good luck, Dean. Mr. Colette.
All right. Where the hell did you stash the damn blade?
Nothing can destroy the blade, so I threw it to the bottom of the deepest ocean. It's the only way I can keep my promise to Colette. We'll call. You come find me and use the blade on me.
Why?
For what I'm about to do.
We were trapped in there. With him.
Sorry.
Oh, Metatron is the key to fixing him.
We got the... How do we find this blade? You knew about the mark. You knew about...
I needed you to play equals fight night.
Tara died. Thanks to you.
Almonds, broken eggs, etc.
We're gonna need all the help we...
So, there's something we...
Edriel, and I will end that son of a bitch. But I'll do it alone. What's that supposed to mean? Sam, people get close to me, they get killed. Or worse. Just...
Vaguely. What's with the hardware?
You tell us. And while you're at it, why don't you give us a lowdown on where you went AWOL for the past 6 months? What?
Oh no.
In the adrenaline.
So.
He left some grace in me before he broke.
What? He was unconscious. No, I... What? So Garza Hunter, if he wants to stay gone, he's gone.
We got nothing.
There's a point in the wrong direction.
You me. License plate. You find Garth and get to the bottom of this, I'm gone. Until then.
The girl?
What? Guns down. Sam! Sam, please.
You do it. She's a werewolf.
So am I. All right. That's... I took him down, but...
How'd you do that?
Smelled him.
No.
You're married?
Hurt people.
No, you just go all Wolverine on cattle.
Yeah.
At least he's not eating
You're bitten, like Garth.
But hold on, you said you were born a werewolf?
You're either born to it, like I.
Questions later, but you got my word on that.
Oh no, that's... We're gonna need a hell of a lot more. Well, ain't you a glass half full? Any luck with the cop?
You must.
Just tell Garth I'm here.
The one carrying the silver.
Thank you, Brother Garth. Wonderful accompaniment.
He's on Sister Joy's side.
I got it. Hunters and our kind don't have the...
We're not much.
Dean loves pie.
But make sure you leave room for pie.
Different manner one.
Did you guys say some sort of a grace or something?
We're more spiritual than we are religious. We believe, much like the American Indians did, that nature and man are one.
Yeah, it really worked out well for them. So why a bunch of werewolves weren't...
He's entitled to his opinion.
Sorry, Dean, but we don't...
Themselves as indestructible. This is a constant reminder of how precious our lives truly are.
Yeah, but silver, I mean, didn't it burn?
Yeah, it does a bit, but it's kind of the point. It reminds us of our fragility.
My daughter Bess was born a lycanthrope. It was one of the proudest days of my life, which soon turned tragic when a hunter... The road to revenge is...
You know, I get it.
Passionate, amazing woman.
Didn't it too? He saw your potential. In our family to serve.
So you're fourth generation werewolf.
Yes.
Look, the good Reverend Jim and his family are all little... need to speak of.
Yeah, with Dean here.
I know you drank the Kool-Aid, okay?
Are you being so hard on everyone?
Because there's no way that all of this is what it looks like. No way.
Why not?
Come on, man. I know you drank the Kool-Aid, okay? But come on.
Look, amigo. I know this all looks nuts, but I found it. Love and a family? Who cares where that comes from?
I do.
I get it. When I first got here, I couldn't let go either. I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. But when it didn't, I had to accept the truth.
Well, I got another truth for you. We were all left in the dark when you went AWOL. I didn't know whether you were dead or worse. I should have reached out and sent someone a message.
And said what, Dean? That I was a werewolf? I was embarrassed. I thought it best for everyone if I just stayed away. But that doesn't mean that I didn't think about and miss you and...
Who's going?
What?
Going for good.
Yeah, you're right. Or a family of friendly monsters with whatever this is. Not gonna happen.
Barks.
He died after we got the call.
You won't be walking out. Bomb, could you? You have no idea what you've watched. Do you? No matter. You won't be walking out.
Look at this.
I've seen that before. Yeah, that is a favorite accessory of the good.
Norse mythology's in the days, but why is it etched onto a bullet? Ragnarok? No Garth, no Bess.
Star of the story is a wolf named Fenris who kills the god Odin before the world ends.
Okay, and that helps us how?
There are cults that consider Fenris a wolf deity and worship him. They call themselves the Maw of Fenris.
A cult of werewolves. What do they want?
Well, Ragnarok is not just a Bible story to these nutjobs. It's an action plan. Human extinction. Total and complete werewolf domination.
And What, this is the ground zero for their movement?
Reagan, Wisconsin, man. About time for Reverend Jim to go down.
Yeah.
You must have done this countless times. You still get nervous. Monsters know fear. I came to work in my sermon. I assure you, we hate and misplaced anger.
No, then why did I read about it in your good book?
So I took over here. I have eradicated this dead.
Yeah, well, tell that to Garth and your daughter who are missing.
No.
Fine.
Hey!
First off, I'm not your mother.
You leave her alone, you hear me? You wanna hurt somebody?
Especially for bringing these hunters.
Not the best. She's
To you and your kind. How many times do I have to say this? Stepdaughter! I'm the last of my bloodline. Thanks to you and your kind out there.
He's awake.
Good enough to eat.
Why are you doing this?
Last winter, my little brother, Charlie, was killed by a hunter. My husband counseled patience, restraint, just as when he took over our beloved, more important than dominance. Tried was murdered, and I couldn't help him. As long as there is a man,
I get it now. Now.
not born into it like
I coexist, and you can rule.
bingo. But my husband doesn't see it that way. See, he was bitten, not born into it like I was. He still holds on to his humanity. Which is why I am so pleased it will be his claws that start Ragnarok, not mine. You and your brother coming here was... You killed her. My husband turned his cheek once. I don't think he can... It's bigger than all of us. You're just dying for me to get my claw.
Full of surprises.
Wearing Russ's coat to hide your scent. Smart.
Oh, I'm full of surprises.
As am I.
I want to make this.
Some more than others. It's whatever. Don't let that go.
Ways. Even the night you split? And like what's right is wrong, and say that like it's some sort of cure-all, like it can change the fact that everything ever gone wrong between us has been because we're family.
So what, we're not family now?
I'm saying, you want to work? Let's work. If you want to be brothers, well, those are my terms.